What's up, everyone? Kriddle here, and Savanja made an announcement today about iconic abilities. So previously, Joppa talked about iconic abilities quite a bit, but today, Savanja said iconic abilities are the heartbeat of Pantheon's classes, designed to make each role feel essential and vibrant. Learn more about these abilities and the intended design direction from Pantheon's creative director. That is Joppa. So like I said, Joppa used to talk about these quite a bit when he was streaming, and he has now made a post over here on PantheonMMO.com news. Iconic abilities. I will put the link down in the description below for you to find, but I wanted to give my thoughts on this because I did read through some of these. I'm not going to go over every bit of this because that would just be kind of boring to read it all to you, but I did want to give you my thoughts on all of this and then also hear back from you as well. So iconic abilities defining your role in Terminus. He basically talks about these huge, amazing, big, bold things, saying things like, this is Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, a world where every class shines with a unique identity and interdependence weaves adventurers into a tapestry of shared triumph. To me, that sounds very big and bold, and like these abilities should reflect that. And some of them do. So we have things like the Cleric Celestial Aegis. This sounds really cool on paper. So a towering ethereal shield rises at the Cleric's command, halting enemies and deflecting deadly projectiles. It stands as a divine bulwark, protecting allies and turning the tide when hope falters. Sounds amazing on paper, would work really well in a Dungeons & Dragons setting or some sort of pen and paper RPG. Don't know how that's going to work in a video game, especially one like Pantheon where we're missing so much content, which I will talk about here in a minute. But I think if they're going to use this ability, it should be more of a bubble. Otherwise, what is it going to do? It's going to halt enemies. So it's going to put up this wall. The enemies are going to run around the wall, just like any player would, right? They're going to find the path and just path right around it. Unless this wall appears between two other walls, in which case, if the enemies don't get to you and your entire party is melee classes, how are you going to defeat the enemy? What does it do for you? Is this for running away? What is, I guess maybe that's what it is, protecting allies, turning the tide when hope falters. So like when all else fails, you're running away. You just put up this wall to prevent the enemy. I'm not sure where they're going with that. I just don't know how this is going to be used. I think that deflecting the deadly projectiles, really cool idea. It could maybe even prevent spells from being cast into it, kind of a protective dome. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. Another really cool one is Conjure Storm. The Druid calls forth a tempest darkening the skies with thunder and rain. This localized storm unsettles foes and empowers allies, marking the Druid as nature's herald. Super awesome ability. I think that I could see lightning bolts coming down, striking enemies, maybe stunning them briefly. It powers allies, giving them extra lightning damage to their melee attacks or maybe even their spells or whatever. Something like that seems awesome. Another one that I really liked to read about, but I wanted to talk about something else in here as well, is Lightful Avenger. Consuming corruption from undead foes, the paladin transforms into a radiant avenger, their strikes blazing with divine wrath. It's a beacon of justice in the darkest fights. Sounds awesome. Turning the paladin into like this holy avenger where maybe their offensive capabilities skyrocket, their defensive capabilities skyrocket, they're able to heal their entire party. Things like that would be really cool to see. But what I don't like about that is consuming corruption from undead foes. Paladins already have to deal with readiness. They already have to deal with wrath, retribution. And then there's another type of wrath that they just added in for another ability. Now they also have to deal with corruption from undead, and it's very specific to undead. I like the idea of paladins being stronger against undead and casting those divine spells, just like clerics can have that and necromancers can have that. Very cool idea. But again, the game does not have the content in place for any of these abilities. And it just makes me feel like, a lot of this is just, hey, we're going to put out some things to try to get people back to the game, but none of this is really in the game, and even if it was in the game, there's no use for it. So those are some of the cool big abilities, but let's look at some of these other ones because a few of these are just like, really? That's an iconic ability? You're going to compare these two things? The Rogue, Length of Rope. The Rogue unfurls a rope letting allies climb treacherous heights. It's a practical yet vital skill, opening paths only a rogue cunning can provide. Cool. I like the idea of that if climbing was actually needed in this game. Climbing is a part of the game, but there's really no reason to climb. And anywhere that you do need to climb or may want to climb, you can just climb straight up the wall and it's not a big deal. You don't really need the rope. Same thing with this bridge over here on the Druid, the vine woven bridge. It just seems very lackluster. Like why are we even trying to add those kinds of things into the game? It doesn't make sense. And then they have two other things under here, lockpicking and pickpocketing for the rogue. Are those iconic abilities? I guess technically, yes, a rogue normally would have those, but they should just be abilities. I mean, I also think that lockpicking should fall under maybe even ranger and bard as well, maybe to a lesser skill level, but they should also have those. Lockpicking should have been in the game from the very beginning when they have those chests that are scattered everywhere and people are going to get those for all the schematics. They should have been locked and you had to kill an enemy to get a key to unlock those chests, or find a rogue that had lockpicking and open those. Also, why are we missing disarm trap? If you're going to give us lockpicking and pickpocketing, why not disarm trap? That should have also been another thing on here. So anyway, my thought on this entire thing is this is cool. Some of these abilities are fantastic. I love hearing that they're trying to do some of these things, but what we need, you're talking about esteemed Pantheon community here. What we need is content. If we don't have content to use any of these abilities in, what's the point in developing these abilities? What is the point in putting any time into these other than possibly just trying to tease players into coming back to the game? I mean, the game is falling apart very quickly because there's no content. Not because we're missing these iconic abilities, although Dire Charm or Charm and Dire Charm for the Enchanter is kind of an ability that I'm sure a lot of people would probably come back to the game for. But for the most part, a lot of these abilities, this is not going to make the game better. This, to me, is a very poor attempt at trying to entice people to come back to a game that they've literally done nothing with. They did have a patch, the servers went down today, server status. So there was downtime for 2 hours, no patch. So we didn't get any new content today. All we got was more promises of things that might come in the future. To me, that's a slap in the face. I don't like that. I think it's very, I don't really know the word that I'm looking for, but I just feel like they're just like teasing us and saying, hey, hang on, here's a little, here's a carrot. Come get it. Come get it. Stop doing that. Show us, give us something in the game, actually something to come back and do. And I promise you people will come back and check it out. Talking about things, telling us, hey, this is what the plan is. We've known the plan for 12 years, right? There's been videos of the plan. That plan has changed time and time and time again. We need to actually see some change. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are. Are you still playing the game? Are you waiting? Are you like, where are you? What is your plan with this game going forward? I personally am still wanting to play this game. I really want it to be successful, but I just don't see that happening while they're continuing to do things like this and not actually give us content. So meanwhile, I've been playing a lot of other games, but still keeping my eye on this one. That's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.